Stephen Lee, are you there?
Stephen, cannot hear you. Your mic is off.
Yes, sorry about that, everyone. I forgot to switch on my mic. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you everyone for staying
Alright.
until now. I'm very aware that I'm the last speaker and I'm keeping everyone from going home. Fortunately, this is a virtual, so I won't see anyone walking out. If it's a right. So anyway, my topic for today is sustainability reporting and ESG compliance. Now, when people think about sustainability reporting, what they think about is that they are going to report on the sustainability elements of the project, right? But this is at the end of the project, which is actually not correct. In fact, when you talk about sustainability reporting, you must start at the beginning. You must think about what you want to report. So it is actually, the reporting is actually a valuable tool at the design and planning stage, which means you have to look at what you want to report, and then at the design and planning stage, do what you want, what you need in order to get the results to report. So because of this, you will have a holistic review and the direction of your entire the workers, the waste, and etc. in the entire project. So this makes your what I call decision making to be very efficient, because you will try to think about everything before you even start your project. Of course, part of your project might also include regulatory compliance. So if you did not sit and design and plan your project, you might actually get into trouble later on, because you might have doubt that you have to comply to certain regulations, right? Now, in a project, there are many stakeholders. In most of us, we think the stakeholders is just us, maybe the funder, and maybe the customer, but there are also other stakeholders, like, for example, activists. If you are going to do a project that includes waste, there are also activists that will cause trouble if you do not take into account their side of the view. So one of the biggest problem is that you need to actually manage all the stakeholders' objectives, what they want. You try to compromise and make sure that you have one common goal, because you cannot have too many goals, right? So you try to manage everybody's expectations into one common goal. So by doing that, you are able to enhance your reputation of your project, and at the end of the day, enhance what your deliverable is, whether it is a product or whether it's a service. You are able to tell everyone, look, we have taken into account everyone's interest, and this is a product that is suitable for everyone. That to do, because we have divided it into three main categories: the environmental, the social, and the governance, the ESG. So when you talk about sustainability reporting, sometimes it is also called ESG compliance. So how do we do ESG reporting, right? So what people have come out is that we have frameworks, so that this framework will have a sort of a checklist on what to comply and what to report. So in Green Project Management P5 standard, we have the planet, people, profit, product, process. And this standard actually is is compatible to the ESG framework. So planet, product, and process, they are all under governance. Now, this is the P5 standard for those that have seen it before. So you have this orange, which is the social, and the green, which is the environmental, and the product, process, and prosperity. This comes under governance. Now, for the P5, it is also mapped to the UN SDGs. So you have the 17 SDG, and if you look into the P5 standard, right, they have mapped it in. Like for example, you have this employment and staffing. It is mapped to SDG 8. For sanitary water displacement, it is mapped to SDG 6. So by achieving this, immediately you can say that you have also complied to now. The biggest gap in sustainability reporting is actually knowledge. What are you going to report? What does the project need to comply with? Right. So with the P5 standard, everything is there for a person or for a group to be able to have that knowledge to design a sustainable product. Okay. The standard, it also has a part where you need to comply with regulations, right? And it provides the groundwork on how to manage your project in a sustainable manner so that you can produce a sustainable product to meet customers' expectations. Nowadays, customers are very that the producer, the manufacturer meets their expectation. For example, if your product is not sustainable, the younger customers may no longer have interest in your product and they will go for a competitor's product. So in order to continue with your business, it is very important that you take into account customers' expectation. Right. So once you are able to do all of this, the end result is success. If you miss one of these, there is a risk that you will not be successful. This is a new, new paradigm, something that this is a new thought, and business are struggling to transition into this new sustainable thinking. So what happens here is that stand out because these projects are able to integrate the GPM P5 components. Right, so this shows all the components. So when you design your project, you should be able to look at each of these components and take into account these components into your project. Don't do it after you have finished your project, after you have after you have completed your product, because then you will miss out many of the components and you will not be able to stand out. Right. When you are able to integrate these components, then you create the most impacts on sustainability. And you are able to contribute the most benefits to the environment, to the society, and to the economy. Okay. It provides the guidance towards sustainability. So you have to really look into the P5, and by using the P5, you are able to come out with a roadmap to become sustainable. Like, so I want to repeat again, don't complete the project and then justify its sustainability. It's too late. There are things that you have missed out and you cannot go back. There are things that you could have done easily at the beginning, but you did not think of it. You have missed certain things, and now your project may not be sustainable. One very important thing I have to mention here is that your project is not a product. Your product might be sustainable. The use of your product might be sustainable. Of the product or services must also be sustainable. If the project management is not sustainable, then at the end of the day, your product and service cannot be said to be sustainable. So you have to design and plan the project to be sustainable. Don't think that, oh, I'm doing solar panel, so this is going to be sustainable. No. Solar panel, yes, it contributes to sustainability. But if you are going to, in carrying out your project, right, you cause trouble to the land, right? Maybe your project site involves moving indigenous people away. Maybe your project site involves cutting down an entire forest. So these are things that are not sustainable and should be avoided. Carry out the project, come out with your service and your product, and then try to justify accessibility. Design and plan the project at the beginning to be sustainable. Now, there are also certain things which you may not be able to control. Like, for example, you might have wastewater, or you might have certain wastes that are harmful or hazardous. So there is no way to get around it, and that you don't produce this waste. So when this happens, what you can do is to mitigate the effects. For example, if you have hazardous waste, make sure that the waste are disposed of properly. You need to document the waste. You need to add the cost of disposal into your project. License contractors to dispose of your waste. If you have wastewater, could you recycle it so that you can reuse the water? So there are two things here. One is where you can sustainable, you do it. Where you cannot be sustainable or you are unable to be sustainable, then you mitigate the effects of the problem. Right. So look at GPMP5, right? The components for guidance. When we do assessment, we base it on the GPMP5, right? I'm not sure whether how many of you have actually gotten the GPMP5 standard. Okay, it is free. You can download it at this link that I've given. Download it, look at it, start. Standard is all about understand what is trying to achieve. And from there, your sustainable journey will be very smooth, and your sustainability results is almost guaranteed. Okay, so my session is very short. Okay, so at this point, yeah, do you guys have any questions that you want to ask from me.
Thank you, Stephen. I
Yeah.
think what is interesting is the fact that many people who want to become consultant right now, they can come into this field of ESG reporting. Right now, because the fact that many people think that this is not a good what I call a timing. Actually, it's wrong. Now is the right timing for people to become consultant. Yeah, but to become consultant, you must know the subject matter expert. If you do not know the subject matter expert, how are you going to become consultant? So the most important thing, you must be certified first. So yeah, so if you are a PMP, you have a master's in project management, all this will help you to get certified in green project management, yeah, or call it GPMB. At least get your certification program in place so that you can get yourself recognized, yeah. And then when you start to have that development of sustainability, you can then start to understand how designing is done for a project. Without having that competency, you will not know how to design project. Yeah? You will only know how to use the tools, but the designing is not being practiced, right? The designing is practiced. So that's why a lot of us who are certified green project managers, we naturally will design it because it's already part of the skill that is being developed. So one of the way that we are trying to help POLYCC is to at least practice the designing through the green project management exercise, through the award, so that you start to apply the P5 in a small scale. And later when you start to have the interest, you can go on the bigger scale. Remember, you are all lecturers. You're all people with qualification. All right, you have degree, you have masters. Some of you has got PhDs, which are good position for you to become consultant. But if you just feel that this is not a field that you should get yourself in, you're wrong, because Malaysia need a lot of what I call sustainability, what I call green project manager who can advise companies, advise even a lot of the corporates. A lot of corporates are not doing very well because they are not sustainable. That is why they are now being forced to do the ESG reporting, because they have not able to do a good job in sustaining their resources. So again, this is a new field, but if you do not bring yourself out to the front, we cannot detect you and we cannot guide you. So if you want to be in the front and you want to come out and become what it takes to be a green project manager, this is where we are here. Yeah, we have many tools. GPM has given many tools. Some of it are free. Free means the template is free. But to apply the template, you need the skill, you need the competency, you need the network, you need the communication, you need the discussion, you need a lot of involvement with the industry. All right. So this is where our role is to make sure that whatever field of work that you do, be it you want to go into energy saving, you want to go into farming, you want to go into waste management, you want to go into hospitality, you want to go into F&B, you can go to whatever field that you have, everything has got its own formula for sustainability, which is the 5P framework. But at the end of the day, we want the project to last. Last means having a longer project life cycle and having a big impact on the economy, the community, the society, and at large, the environment. Because we are no longer depending on other people. We have to depend on our own talent. Without we depending on our own talent, who's going to guide us? Harapkan government doesn't know. Harapkan consultant, you cannot pay. So how? So we are the resource people to guide you. So When we give you the template, we give you the guide, it's not for you to pay. It's for you to start applying, right? Start applying, start to think and design, and come forward. Don't be shy. There's no right or wrong answer in sustainability, but there's always improvement in fine-tuning the project. That's where we have expert. We bring to you all the expert. Stephen is expert in what I call in building management, green building, what I call green index. He's an expert in it, all right? But it is just not just the field. We have to go beyond. If you are going to be an expert in green project management, it is a network. You've got to get into the network, and we got to work as a team, because it can go very far for us to play a mega role with the corporates, with the government, and also with the regional, the ASEAN countries, because we cannot afford to have ASEAN overtaking us, because we have very limited time left. We don't have much space, tanah kita tak banyak, dan kita pun tak ada manpower. We are importing manpower. So how if we are not strategizing our resources well? Okay, we open to discussion. We have Isha here, we have Stephen here. I'm not sure whether Faisal is still around. Open for discussion and look at the way we debate. We open up so that POLYCC come out as a leader to bring out new talent of sustainability to the people.
I would like to say that ESG is not a one person's work, because everyone has got their own expertise. So, and rarely a person will have expertise in all three: environmental, social, and governance. Somebody might have expertise in environment and know nothing about environmental. Some are very active in social, but don't know much about environmental and governance. So this is where, you know, we have to actually share our knowledge, share our skills, share our experience to actually carry out the entire ESG agenda.
Another thing is that because we have a lot of pool of experts that can guide you, you know, don't be shy to ask some of the industry expert on how you want to guide your student on sustainability projects, so that whenever you want to later on present, at least we can give you a good assessment, a good assessment regarding the element of the level of your participation, so that you yourself know that you are at par also with the industry, because your product is industry product. Okay, so when your product is industry product, you are very much home run, all right? But if your product is not industry product, then it's where we have lots of problems regarding the gaps, regarding the issues, and the government cannot solve this problem because it is not something that can be fixed easily. So this is where we want to make sure that we can enhance this learning of sustainability through the Sustainability Awards, through your POLYCC's blueprint, and to ensure that we are all together to assist, so that all of us come with one mission to make Malaysia great and make our environment be protected from unnecessary hazard, right? And also to make sure that our future is also being kept for us, not for others, because we know the future is so uncertain. We do not know what's going to happen to the future. But if we later are suffering, it's because of our own unprepared behavior. We did not prepare. So it is not a blaming game, but we have to be really, really taking fast action to ensure, you know, we don't wait to the last minute. By the time everything is in a rush, nothing can come with quality when it's in the rush. Isha, when you want to add something?
Yeah, I think what is Doc and also Mr. Steven says that whatever we did is actually we target is to make sure that we have the benefit on economy, we have the benefit on the social as well as the environmental impact or whatever we do. So if we start early and identify all these KPI ataupun these measures, then we should be able to lead to the right channel on enhance the whatever the sustainable project that we are going to embark on. Yeah.
Why I bring up the subject of ESG reporting, because we have been called by many corporates and big corporates, because they don't have the framework, neither they have the tools, neither they have the people inside who know how to do it. So the nearest to us, the nearest to SustNET, the nearest to us who understood about sustainability framework is POLYCC. That's why I keep on telling Rohania, the nearest who understood a lot of our green project management is POLYCC, and they have lots of resources but untapped. You do not know how to enter into ESG reporting. All right. So this is where it is not about just educating. It is about also contributing to the industry. And ESG is a reporting to the industry. They need the skilled people to handle the reporting with the validation, with the verification, with the template that is according to standards, international standards. All right. So this is where, when we want to do this webinar, why it's not just about the awards. It's about the preparation for every one of us to join hands to talk about the national mission on how ESG is going to impact a lot of companies out there who are unprepared. They are unprepared. All right. So this is where we have to be ready so that the resources are there for us to what I call use you, or what I call collaborate, and so that we can know where to put the right resources in wherever you are, because you are all over Malaysia, so that we can then help those people who are in need of assistance. Any feedback? Senyap je, cikgu-cikgu, lecturer.
Tengah menghazam. Menghazam.
Maybe it's they didn't expect it mungkin lah.
Ada dengar.
Good. Cik Anwar ada ya? Cik Anwar?
Ada.
Oh, good.
Saya
So,
ikut panjang tadi. Saya
so
follow.
kita kena understand kita bukan saja nak latih orang untuk pakai the GPM, but there are so much of demand out there yang mana industri tak ada orangnya untuk buat reporting, untuk nak do training for them, for the people. So siapa lagi? So that's why I said the biggest pool of resources is POLYCC. So this is the preparation that we want to make sure that that the polytechnics are also aligned with the national agenda on sustainability, whether you call it SDG, whether you call it the what I call the mission of the 2030, it's all the same.
Parity.
Yes, it's all the same. But on our hand, when we want to help the government, we also have to help the business people, the local people. Yeah, the local people must kena tolong, because they are the community. The planet mesti ditolong because they are in our environment. And then the economy must be tolong because they are our source of income. So this is where kita tak boleh kedekut untuk kita berjuang. Tak boleh kedekut. Kita tak boleh kata, oh kita tak nak, biarlah because kita tak dibayar, tidak itu. We cannot look at that level. We have to look at how we want to change our mindset. Make the difference. Maybe Cik Zuhairi nak wakil Rohania?
Ya, betul Doktor. So itulah kami dari pihak mengucapkan terima kasih kepada doktor dan kepada panel-panel, Cik Steven, Cik Isha dan semua tadi. Kita menggalakkan penyertaan mana-mana daripada institusi So insyaAllah kita akan untuk sesi kedua nanti kita akan ada cara macam mana nak menyertai ke macam mana Doktor?
Ya, sesi kedua kita akan juga bawa different sets of topics and speakers, as they say, so that we get more exposure and the mungkin different sets of people will be coming in. But the guidance is that we know how the nation is moving on and what is the weaknesses of our nation. Kita tahu. And we know the global transformation sedang berlaku. So kita nampak bahawa kita dah banyak mempunyai jurang perbezaan. So kalau kita tak take action dalam hal ni, penyebab dia kita buat GPM Award ni untuk kita berikan kelajuan to speed up our learning. But that is just a process. But more important is we make sure that we understand the whole mission is to ensure our workforce, our human capital, our element of project is aligned supaya kita tidak ketinggalan dari segi apa yang dah disarankan, you know. So on the 17th of June, of course, I will bring also a bunch of other great speakers or different topic, or maybe same speaker but different topic, because topik-topik yang important, especially measurement, especially talking about tools of measurement, because semua orang yang faham, because even as I said, PMP itself, they don't have the tools. So kalau orang-orang yang kita kata generically supposed to be pandai pun tak tahu, so apatah lagi orang yang tahu tu tapi tak nak buat. Kira berdosa dah lah. Orang tahu tapi tak nak buat.
17 Jun hari Jumaat juga kan, Dr. Noh?
17 is up to you. Kalau you want to change, we can still
Jumaat
change.
lah, Jumaat rasa
tak bersesuai.
Kelang kabut sikit, tak bersesuai. Macam hari ni saya nampak macam
and we can change to 16 Jun, tak ada masalah.
Kalau kita change tu hari Khamis kan.
Hari Khamis ya. We can. Masih ada masa lagi. And then maybe kita akan pakai Webex lah, minta Cik Zuhairi dia bantu Webex so that more people will come in.
Betul. Sebab student ramai nak ikut.
Yes. Today pun registration yang nampak dah lebih 500.
Memanglah kita
so, kita memang galakkan and we will share all the information. Of course the slides and so on. There's nothing to apa ni panggil to hide, but what is more important is the action.
Sebab kita punya kurikulum pun kita ada green economy, kita ada green budaya hijau, jadi memang berkaitan dengan apa yang JPM bagi.
Yep. Okay. Maybe Cik Anwar want to say sepatah dua kata lagi sebelum akhiri?
Habis dah.
Habis dah.
Syok dengar tadi ya. Okey, saya bagi pihak tuan rumah POLISAS ucapkan banyak terima kasihlah kepada JPM bawah apa tadi. Dan juga Dr. Noh yang memang saya nampak dia lama rasa memang bersemangatlah untuk green ni. Ya. Jadi kita nampak seolah-olah benda tu satu realiti dah bagi saya sekarang ni ya. Sebab kita nak buat yang betul-betul yang kita punya jagalah sekitar dan sebagainya. Jadi sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih pada semua penceramah pada hari ini ya. Semoga kita jumpa lagi lah pada banyak kali lagi siri-siri webinar yang akan dibuat oleh SustNET. Ya.
Terima kasih. So thank you semua, terima kasih kepada JPPKK dan POLISAS kerana telah pun menganjur bersama seminar ni ataupun webinar ini. Ini merupakan salah satu syarat untuk kita membantu dalam penyediaan dalam SustNET Award, sebab kami bukan saja assessor, kami juga adalah mentor untuk make sure that segala projek yang nak dijalan tu biarlah membawa hasil yang tinggi nilai dia ya dari segi impact. So kita nak bawakan that hasil tu yang lebih tinggi supaya benda tu dapat dijalankan tak kira oleh siapa-siapa nanti, tapi ia menuju kepada satu arah yang lebih baik. Alright, sekian, terima kasih. Anissa, maybe you want to kata-kata penutup? Boleh MC?
Boleh, Doktor. Baik, akhirnya tepatnya hampir pukul 5 petang kita akhiri kita punya webinar ni, maka dengan ini tamatlah sesi webinar pada hari ini. Peringatan mesra, tidak lupa juga saya ingatkan bagi mereka yang terlepas sesi pada hari ini ataupun pagi tadi, webinar akan seterusnya pada 17 Jun 2022. Okey.
16.
Saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih atas penyertaan anda serta 16. Baik. 16 Jun. Okey. Okey, saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih atas penyertaan anda semua serta para penceramah, speaker ataupun ahli panel dan juga para hadirin yang masih ada dengan kita sama-sama daripada pagi sampailah sekarang, dan juga ribuan terima kasih juga kepada Dr. Nur Saidatul atas jemputan dan kepada yang berkongsi pengalaman, maklumat, dan saya juga bertambah ilmu. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Semoga kita semua dapat manfaat daripada apa yang dikongsikan daripada para panel. Jadi saya akhiri webinar kita pada kali ini dengan serangkap. Ada nanti.
Open video.
Ada.
Ada.
Kita open video.
Ada record. Okey. Okey, saya akhiri webinar kita pada kali ini dengan serangkap pantun. Selesai meriah majlis acara, perkara baik jadi pedoman. Andai ada terlanjur bicara, salah silap harap dimaafkan. Maka dengan ini tamatlah sesi webinar pengurusan projek MAMPAN untuk ekonomi, komuniti dan persekitaran pada hari ini. Sekian, terima kasih. Assalamualaikum.
Warahmatullahi
Mungkin ambil gambar.
Ambil gambar sikit.
Gambar.
Open video.
Open kamera. Kita tengok. Semua open kamera.
Yes.
Siapa ambil gambar? Cik tu.
Tuan rumah ambil.
Tuan rumah ambil.
Okay, boleh semua ready? So, mana yang ada tu boleh ambil gambar. Okay. Okay, ready. Siapa lagi belum buka kamera?
40 orang kan ada.
Kita ada 35.
Oh, 35. Oh lah. Boleh lah tu. Tak sempat-sempat.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, sekejap ya, one more. Tengok lagi sekali. Okay, one more time. 1, okay. 1, 2, 3. Alright, terima kasih semua. InsyaAllah kita jumpa lagi pada next sesi.
Terima kasih
Semua.
I ada comment some of the question tu tadi. Alright, can go through lah.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.